Morning, I'm Lesley Logan, co-founder of onlinepilatesclasses.com, and today we're going to talk about how to get the pedal to move on the Wunda chair with teaser on top without doing it from your arms. What a great question. One of you has dropped in our comments, and I'm super excited to answer this. If you're an OPC member and you would like me to look at you doing a Wunda chair exercise or two where you're wondering, am I pushing it in the right way? Am I set up the right way? You can actually send a video of yourself doing an exercise and I will give you feedback because the Wonder Chair is a really cool piece of equipment. Now, let's talk a little bit about why it's a cool piece of equipment and then what's going on. So for the teachers watching this, you are probably expecting some sort of cue or something you can say to keep people from pushing the pedal with their arms. And I am here to tell you, unless they know how to move from their center, anything you say will kind of fall on deaf ears. You'll have to repeat yourself because before we put them on a Wunda chair, we should know how they move their body. For those of you who are not teachers, let me explain that to you. So if we look at a piece of equipment based on surface area, this surface area that I am, the blue part that you can see, that is so much smaller than the mat, so much smaller than the Cadillac, smaller than the carriage on a reformer. So inherently, the Wunda chair is a more advanced piece of equipment. So even though you might be a really good at teaser on the Cadillac or teaser on the mat, doesn't mean that you can do teaser on the Wunda chair yet. And it doesn't mean you're doing it from the right place. And so when I'm thinking about putting a person on top of the chair to do teaser, I already know I already know if they can do it or not. If I have any nervousness issues that I think maybe possibly they could push with their arms or lean too much with their upper body and maybe fall off, right? I am not doing it with them because I will have seen this in other things. So let's look at the exercise together and then let's talk about what's moving the pedal. So first of all, where a lot of people get this exercise wrong is where they put their seat. They're too far back. You actually have to get your seat so at the edge so when I come up into a teaser, like my tailbone is at the edge, right? Then I can take my hands back onto the pedal. And then when I use my stomach to push the pedal away, the pedal lowers down. And then I try to leave my lower back on on the chair as I lift back up. And again, pull the center back, the pedal moves, leave the lower back on the chair as much as I can to come up. Most people get their legs too high, which means they have to move from their arms because they don't have access to their center because your legs are part of it. And if your legs are too high up, you're in your hip flexors, you can't access the center. So the legs have to be set up in the right spot. So if my legs are at eye level and my hamstrings and glutes are on, my inner thighs are on, then I have access to my abdominals to push the pedal away and lift it back up. If I have to tell someone, don't push with your arms, what are they supposed to push it with? In Joe's studio, he would never say, don't do something. He would always tell you what to do. And so the annoying answer to this question is I would have already known if someone could do this from their center based on other exercises. I will list off just a few at the top of my head. On the Cadillac, reverse push through. Do they lean back with their arms and let the spring push their arms around? If so, this is not an option for them, right? Roll back on the Cadillac. Do their feet leave the poles? If so, they're not rounding back from their center. Short box on the reformer. Do their legs go narrow and then wide and then narrow and then wide, right? That tells me they are not rounding back from their center. All right, stomach massage, round. Are they gripping it, the carriage with dear life? Roll up on the mat. Can they do it without their legs moving around? I heard a really fun story. Hi, Bione. You want to come here and tell the story with me? I had a really fun story yesterday with some people that all study with Jay Grimes. We all know each other, and they were sharing stories about how Jay and Ramana would laugh when someone come into the studio and go, "Oh, I'm an advanced Pilates person," and they would go, "Show us your roll up." And based on the roll up, based on if their legs move, based on how they did it, they could tell if they're an advanced person or not. So to be teaser on top of the Wunda chair is to me one of the harder teasers to do. And if you're going to be up here, I should know already that you can move from your center. Now, some of you are like, Lesley, you've never seen me and I take classes online from you. So how do you know? Great question. I'm going to suggest that if you are doing classes online and you're like trying to make sure you have a Pilates practice that's more affordable, more accessible, time-wise, cadence-wise, money-wise, I see you. Here's what you're going to do. If this right here scares you, you feel scared, you are going to take your feet and put them on a wall. Okay? I want your feet on a wall. Something, a fitness ball, something. I don't want them to move, but I want them supported so that you can practice just this part. Because I get it. A lot of times people buy just a Wunda chair because that's what they have space for. So now I can practice just this part. I don't want your legs in the air yet, right? I don't want you to do that. Now, the other thing is I want to know, what does your push down on the Wunda chair like? Do you feel standing push down? Do you feel it in your center or do you feel it in your arms? Pull-ups on the Wunda chair. Do you feel it in your center? Do you feel it in your arms? What is the center? The center is, yes, your stomach, okay, but it's also the muscles around your hips, your back, and your shoulder girdle, right? So where I find teachers and clients are getting Pilates wrong is a strong word, incorrect, or confusing, is that they get into the exercise and then they try to do stuff. So they get into a teaser and then they check their shoulders and then they check their elbows and then they check their heels instead of coming into the teaser from the connections. So what I mean by that is, here I am. I'm not going to go, okay, shoulders down, elbows soft, heels together. No, I need to go, all right, I find my teaser. I'm moving my arms from my teaser. My teaser continues to move. I'm already connected before I move the pedal, right? So if you are teaching and you're correcting people after they get into the 100, that is information that they weren't connected when they got up in the first place. If you're a client and you're finding yourself, I have to check this and check this and check this, it tells me we weren't connected from the beginning. Now, how do we find those connections? It's possible it's not from the exercise you're struggling with. If you're struggling with this exercise, if you're struggling with pushing the pedal down with your center, you don't practice here moving from your center. You practice with the exercises I've said already and other ones. Where in your practice do you feel like you're leaning too heavily on your arms? Do you feel like you're overworking your quads, right? Where is that happening? And this requires curiosity. This requires time and movement in quiet, which means the teachers who are watching you have to be quiet so that the clients can feel what's overworking and underworking. For the clients in the room, it's allowing your teacher to be quiet so you can feel what's in your body. Too many of you are outsourcing your curiosity to the person who's teaching you. You're like, tell me what to do. And the actual thing is that outsourcing that in your Pilates practice means you're outsourcing that in your whole life. You're letting everyone tell you. You want people to tell you what to do everywhere. And I always say how we operate in our Pilates practice, how we operate in life. If you can be curious in your Pilates practice, you'll be curious in life with your relationships, with your friends, with things that are going on in the world around you. If you can be, if you're like, oh, I can't do that exercise yet, and you replace it with something you can do, something we teach at OPC all of the time. If you can't do the rollover, what can you do? If you start to go, oh, I can do this and I can do this, when you hit an obstacle in your life, you're not waiting for someone to tell you what to do. What's the modification here? No, you are going, oh, I can do this instead. And that is so important to me because I don't teach all of these tutorials for you or any of the classes for OPC or the pop-up tours where we go on summer tour. I hope to see you in person. I don't do any of that so that you get perfect at Pilates. I do all of that so you can do the life you want better. And if this is the first time you're hearing that Pilates is supposed to be to help you do your actual life better, congratulations, now you know. But it truly is. And too many of us are becoming obsessed with where my pinky finger is or how do I do this? You might not be ready for it yet. And that's probably the actual answer. If someone is pushing with their arms, it's possible they're not ready for this exercise yet. Now, that doesn't mean if you gave this person the exercise or you, the client, are doing this exercise and you're pushing with your arms like, oh, I'm a failure. I picked the wrong exercise with my client or I picked the wrong exercise myself. No, it's information on where we have work to do. Scientists, when they do experiments, they actually do want to be proven wrong. They're like have an hypothesis and they're trying to figure it out, right? And then they want to repeat it. And so for me, it's like, oh, if I put someone on here and they are moving from their arm, I'm going to go, oh, hold on. Wait a second. Where do we need to go? Okay, great. Let's move on. Let's go over there. We pick up, we move on. You do not see athletes berate themselves on things that they did wrong on a pitch. No, they watch the video, they figure what they did wrong, and they go work on it. Not on the pitch, but on other things. So all this to say, this is an amazing exercise. I really love it. And the modification is to support your legs. And before that, it's to work on exercises that allow you to find your center. So where do you struggle with your center? Are you a hypermobile person who struggles with feeling like with staying out of your knees? We got to work the backs of your legs. That's my fast workshop. It's on tour. Are you someone whose shoulders are always doing this or your elbows are locking out? That's my arm back connection workshop. It's going to be on the tour. Are you someone who just struggles with teaser in general? We got workshops for that too on the tour. So I hope to see you in person because it's way more fun to do this. And I love answering your questions. And I hope this gave you some food for thought. This is a system. And one exercise reveals where we have work to do in all of the exercises. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to come on tour with us, it's opc.me/tour. My peeps in the UK, you keep saying come to the UK. We are coming in September. We are coming. That's opc.me/UK. And you can also come on a retreat with us. You can. We have a house in Cambodia. We love to spend a week with you. We love to show you how incredible the world can be and do Pilates 5 days during that and do some workshops on how to make more time in your life for you and be curious about what's around you. So thank you so much for that. crowsnestretreats.com. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you. So, do we have a question? Great. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Bye.